What's up, everyone? We are going to read a few chapters in our Somewhere There Is Still a Sun book. Okay, follow along. This is page 167 in the online version, and in the book, it is page 159. All right, here we go. December 13th, 1942. Okay, we just left off, and Misha is still in this like small space with a bunch of boys. I think it's like 40 plus boys. Some of our notes that we took was that Franta was encouraging them to stick together, right? He's a upstander. Um, he's trying to keep the boys as a team and as a family instead of pin them all against each other and everybody making fun of each other, because that's what the Nazis wanted, right? So he is very encouraging and a very big upstander. Okay. Here we go. December 13th, 1942. I'm sorry your work in the garden is over, Mother says, but I'm hopeful you'll return there come springtime. That is, if we're still here then. But so tell me, how is school going? I'm sitting across from Marietta at a long table in their room in the Dresden barracks. Well, it's obviously not just their room, because this place is packed with triple-decker bunk beds too. There might even be more people living here than back in room 7. Right now, the place feels only half full, but still, women are all over the room, reading, napping, sewing, cleaning, or chatting. It's like this most evenings, which is when I usually come to visit, because it turns out that we can go pretty much anywhere we want whenever we want. Inside Terra's Inn, that is. And so long as we don't have somewhere particular Franta wants us to be. And of course, so long as we're back before curfew, because no one can be out after that. It's not school, I tell her, swallowing the last bite of a small, delicious pastry she somehow got her hands on. I could eat another 100 like it, even though there was finally a bit of salami with dinner tonight. It's called the program. School's not allowed. That's why some days I have to stand guard out front. Remember, in case an SS officer comes to the building? Which would never happen, Marietta says. So long as we don't cause any trouble, the Nazis could care less about what we do here. I haven't seen one of those monsters since we arrived. Mother's behind us, doing something to their bed, though I can't figure out what. Well, okay, so what did you learn in the program today? She asked. Marietta puts down a jack of clubs, but I don't remember what that means. She's teaching me some new card game she learned here that she said I ought to show everyone. Today, I try to remember Professor Cohn. Professor? Mother asked. Yeah, I guess he was a professor in Prague. He gave us a math lesson. Ugh, math, Marietta says. I'm glad I have to work in the laundry all day. It wasn't that bad, I say. We don't have much to write on, so he taught us a song to help us remember the order of operation. How does it go? Mother asks. Forget it, I say, and put down the 10 of diamonds. Marietta moves the card under two of her cards already out on the table. Her fingertips are pale and wrinkled, which isn't what they used to look like. It must be because of her work. Mother lifts up a corner of their mattress and yanks out the edge of a blanket. Okay, so after Professor Cohn, then what? Then Professor Zwicker. Another professor, Mother says? He gave us a lecture about Czech history. Was it interesting? She asked. It was okay. What did he tell you? I pretend to rack my memory, but what I'm really thinking about is what happened right after his lecture. Professor Zwicker told us we'd have an exam on Thursday, and then he left. Franta left too, because he said he had to go check about practice times with Jacob, the other Madrich. Dr. Jelenkova was supposed to come next to teach us English, but she was late for some reason. So there we were, waiting, when all of a sudden I heard two weird noises, one right after another, coming from the other side of the room. The first was kind of a poof sound. The other was more like a thud. I look over. Gorilla was lying on the ground with a dazed smile on his face. Standing over him was Gila with a pillow in his hand and a much larger smile on his face. Gorilla sprung back up, grabbed a pillow, and whacked Gila hard on the side. Not 2 seconds later, every single boy in the room had joined in. 20, 30, 40 pillows swinging through the air. Jerry had a pillow in each of his hands and walked down the length of the table, bashing anyone within reach. Felix straddled 2 ladders and nailed Brenna when he tried to run beneath him. Erich and Coco ganged up on Peter, who giggled and crawled quickly down the tunnel of middle bunks in their row. I just stood near the front of the room, both hands wrapped tight around the end of my pillow, which wasn't actually my pillow, waiting for someone to attack. Brenna nailed Felix in the side of the head so hard his pillow ripped open, along with feathers. A weird combination of straw and wood shavings started pouring out. Felix grabbed a bunch of the and stuffed it down Brenna's shirt. Right around then, I noticed clouds of feathers popping up in other spots of the room. A couple of seconds later, I was spinning around and giggling, the pillow cocked behind my shoulder, when I noticed Franta standing in the doorway, his arms crossed over his chest. Uh-oh. Pillow fight is about to be over, right? I froze and let the pillow slide out of my hands and onto the floor. Without looking like I was running, I made my way through all of the feathers and returned as quickly as possible to the stool I was sitting on before. Franta slammed the door. Nasharim! Franta yelled. He shouted. A few boys noticed, but not all, because the rest of the room was total chaos. Nasharim! Franta yelled even louder, marching towards a clump of boys still bashing each other with whatever was left of their pillows. A few seconds later, the pillow fight was definitely over, even though some feathers continued floating in the air. Have you all gone mad? Franta asked, his face red. Where do you think you are? Do you think this is a resort? No one said anything. What are we going to do with all these feathers? How will we get them back into your pillows? And how will you sleep without pillows? And what if insects were happily living inside your pillows? Where do you think they are going to live now? And what if an SS officer happened to be walking below our window at that moment, perhaps in the camp today for an inspection of some sort? Why would you ever do anything to draw attention to yourself? I heard your racket from the other end of the hall. Do you think terrorism provides enough challenges? Do you not think terrorism provides enough challenges to us each and every day? Was it really necessary to create more? No one said a word. Franta made a small pile of feathers and wood shavings with his toe. All of this is to be cleaned up within 5 minutes. And after that, since Dr. Jelinkova was sick, we will have rehearsal instead. But we have rehearsal tonight, Pavel says. Uh-oh, that's right. I remember now looking at my mother. Rehearsal. I totally forgot. What time is it? I ask Mother. I don't know. She says, why? I stand up. I've got to go. What? Mother says, you only just arrived. But we have rehearsal for our play. It probably already started. Marietta shuffles the cards. Play? What play? She asks. The Pied Piper, I say, buttoning up my jacket. Is the play a secret too? Mother asks, like your school? I'm not sure, I say, heading towards the door. We're just rehearsing right now. Remember, Marietta hollers at me, the ace can be high or low. Hold on, Misha, Mother says. I turn around. She's holding a folded up blanket in her hand. I recognize the pattern. It's a blanket she and Father used to sleep under back in Prague. Here, take this. What? Take it, winter is coming. What about us? Marietta asked. That's our heavy blanket. Greta says she saw 2 flannel blankets in the attic this morning. We can use those instead. But, Marietta said, those won't be nearly... I can't take it, I say. What are you talking about? You can't take it. It's not fair, I say. No one else has a blanket like that. Mother deposits it in my arm, but you will, and that's all that matters. No, I say, pushing it back at her. It's not fair. Anyway, Franta won't allow it. Franta, Mother says, almost laughing. Franta's not your mother. He doesn't get to decide. I'll come with you right now and talk to him myself. Don't, I say, even more firmly than I wanted to, and from the look on Mother's face, I might as well have slapped her. Sorry, just don't. I'll talk to him about it, I tell her, even though I know I won't, okay? Mother holds the blanket against her chest, her cheeks red. I look over at Marietta, who just shakes her head. From the corner of my eye, I notice a few women staring at us. I take a couple steps towards Mother and hug her. When she doesn't let go right away, I let my head sink deeper in between the folds of the blanket, where I can smell our old apartment back in Hasak-Lowy. The smell wants me to stay like this forever, but I yank my head out and said, "Thanks for the pastry," I tell Mother. Before she can respond, I'm out the door. Hopefully, Franta won't be mad at me for being late. After rehearsal, I'm washing up when Franta comes in. Somehow, we're the only two in there. I look over at him, but he's looking at the floor for some reason. Then he bends over and picks something up, a feather. Franta turns it back and forth in between his fingers. "We'll be finding these for the next month," he says, shaking his head. "Sorry," I say, and start walking back to the room, scanning the floor to see if there are any other feathers we missed. "Misha," he calls out when I'm almost to the doorway. "Yeah," I say, and turn around. "It was fun, wasn't it?" he says. "What?" "The pillow fight," he says. I don't know how to answer, or what he wants me to say. I search his eyes, looking for a clue. Is he testing me? Uh, yeah, kinda. Kind of. His eyes soften a bit. "Yes, it was. It was really fun. I bet it was," he says, a small smile on his face. "I bet it was." I don't say anything, just watch him stare at the floor, clearly thinking about something. Who knows what? "Lots of things are fun here," I say. "Soccer. Even play rehearsal, I mean. I don't know why my mother kept trying to get us off the transport here." Franta laughs, though it's not exactly a laugh. Maybe just a sigh. "What?" I ask. "Nothing." "What?" "I'm glad you're able to enjoy yourself here. I wish that I wish that could somehow be a more common experience in this rotten place." "What do you mean?" I ask. Franta's smile continues to grow, but his eyes don't match it at all. "Nothing, Misha," he says. "It doesn't mean anything. Please forget I said it. And now to bed. It's late. Tomorrow's another day." "Good night, Franta." "Good night, Misha," he says. And soon I'm back in bed where I fall asleep almost instantly, even though my pillow is half the size it was this morning. Make sure you're taking notes.